Right lads, so in this video what we're going to be doing is doing a POI breakdown of Retail Row. I promised someone from the stream the other day that I was going to do it. I know it was Mursad because he's a legend. But basically this is a series that I have on the channel. I do a lot of POIs. I will be doing a lot of new POI breakdowns in the future when the new season comes. So make sure you hit that sub button if you want to get all the best rotates and all the best, I guess, end game knowledge, how to start a game, how to play as a trio. Basically the most in-depth and specific tips possible. So starting off, what we're going to do for anybody new here is if you see a blue line on this map that I'm going to draw with my epic pen, that represents the IGL. If I go with a pink pen or a purple pen, if you think that's purple, it's going to end up being your fragger. If I draw a red, again, it's going to end up being your support. Black lines usually just mean in a general case, and I'll use them to just do random things. And there is going to be two parts to this breakdown, so make sure you stay tuned. And man, please hit the like button for me, man, because these videos are hard to make. I know they don't look it, but they take a lot of planning, a lot of preparation, and a lot of thinking, to be honest. So if we're getting straight into it, basically, let me get my pen right now. Yep. There's three ways really you can break this down. Okay, it's like one straight here like this, and that's split like that. So you can take this split, so that would be split one. Okay. You've got split 2, which is the split we're going to be taking when I do this breakdown. I'll explain why. Split 2. And then you've got split 3. Now, obviously, this is in trio circumstances. This does apply to solos, duos, or trios. If you're talking about solos, you just play with the IGL. If we're talking about duos, you use the IGL and the frag. And obviously, in trios, we use all of these. Just make sure your team knows what they're doing. Make sure you get your teammates to watch this video, man, because it's the best way it's going to help them. And it will help me out a lot because it makes these videos way more worth making to make sure it gets the maximum amount of reach. Because these strategies, like in my POI breakdowns, they can only be used if everybody knows their role, as a lot of things in game. The reason we're going to be using number 2 is because you get 6 chests. Here, you also get 6 chests, and you have the potential of doggo spawning. Doggo spawning means, you can get a lot more things. But the thing is, you've got 4 of them chests in such a small space, and it's literally all about real estate in this. If you take 2, you're using the maximum. There's 2 chests here, there's 2 chests here, and there's 2 chests here. You're using the maximum amount of space. This is how much space you control. Whereas when you land here, the only way you do this 2-house split is if you get 2 guys to go here from your trio and a solo to go here. Again, it's not controlling as much real estate. The only really 3 options you have when landing here is the likes of this. So let me get rid of my lines. Okay, when you land down there, the option you have is this. Is you can, let's just say these houses, yeah, like we said a minute ago. These houses, you can push for this team that will land somewhere over here because they always do. And the straggler that will land over here, if it's solos or whatever. But there will be a team around this vicinity. Or you can back out this way. You can back out this way. Or you can back out and go that way. Okay. So they're all runaway options down the bottom. These 3 are runaway options. The other 2 are your fight options. And you can just hold. That's really all the plays you have. Okay, and they're good plays because you can get Doggo. You've got a car in the garage 90% of the time. But Doggo, obviously, he does do some pretty good trading when he's there. And that's the only time it's really worth taking them houses. So it doesn't give you absolute certainty that your drop spot will work every time. And even if it does work, it's more beneficial to land over here. Because if Doggo's here, there's no challenge to kill Doggo. So you can just loot up, get better loot overall. Because more than likely, unless it's really a high-end tournament like FNCS, the team won't really, know how to abuse Doggo. Because that's not a well-known strategy in this POI. In the likes of Pleasant it is. But for some reason, people don't do it here. So when you break it down, this is what we're going to be working with. I would say, first of all, is this. You want to put your fragger. So basically, no, I shouldn't have done this big box, boys. My bad. Let me pull out my pink pen. Your fragger should land here. Should land here. I'll explain why in a minute. Obviously, now when the red circle, we do a lot of these boxes in pink to show where he's going to rotate to. But the one with the red circle on it, in it, is where he's going to land. Now, he's not going to land on this specific point. It is up to you. There is the best way I believe nowadays to loot a house is actually start on the bottom and work your way up. I don't recommend landing on the roof because sure, it's great and all, but there might not be a chest there and you're going to get beamed from over here. So I recommend landing down low all the time in all of these houses. Unless you have really good sound and you can hear the chest before you land, which is what I do. sometimes. So your fragger's going to land here. Reason being is he's most likely, this house usually will get pushed by here. And a trio will land, well, usually two will land here and one will split like half of this, like right here, and rotate around. So you don't want to get, like, you don't want to put your IGL there because obviously your fragger is meant to be your best player, mechanically wise. So he's meant to have cracked mechanics. So if there is a worst case scenario where you can't get to him in time, he needs to be able to handle himself as best as possible. So he's going to do better against the 1v3 than the likes of your support or you. That's not degrading you as a player. It's just his role to be an absolute mechanical god. Like a creative warrior on the team. Your IGL should land here. Reason being is because your IGL, you want to get as much information as possible. From here, because other than this tree, you can see this tree on the map, you have a clean view all the way down here. You have a clean view to here. You have a clean view to here. You have a clean view to this. You know, like look at all the viewpoints you have. A team here, here. You can see. So if the guy does rush your teammate, your fragger, your IGL is going to have a much better aim. His mechanics is to tunnel and to aim and to rotate. That's his and decision making. But just generally, I've noticed IGLs have insane AOR aim because they're so used to sitting back a lot more than your fragger. He's going to go in for a box fight. He's going to lead a box fight. Whereas if the IGL should sit back more and play more of that long range playstyle, which is what I'm trying to adapt to. But I do need to keep going into boxes a lot and get my mechanics up because I'm not a very mechanical player. So you want to land here specifically because it allows you to get the most information. And if somebody lands with your support, which is going to land here, you need to be able to back him up. So you're the middleman in between both of your teammates. Whoever needs help, you can go to, and you can make sure when you do go to help them, nobody's going to rotate up onto you because this is a power building. If you leave this building as a IGL, so let's say if this building is left unoccupied and you go down here, this building is on high ground above both of these houses. So you can like get a good angle on the roofs, on the back roofs of these houses. So if someone from here rotates over, if you're down here as an IGL, that's why this arrow's here. Let's say you're helping your frag, and this house is free. He can rotate over to this house and have high ground on both of you, and so can his trio. You know, two of them guys could go to this house, and one can flank around. It's very open if you don't have this building. So this building is probably the most important building to hold when playing, I guess, any houses in this bottom row, like here, like this. With my pen. If you're playing any houses like that, out of these four, this is the most overpowered because it's dead center. You have all the angles that you want, and that's very good as an IGL to have all those power plays and different options. Now, as far as your support, I will pull him out now. Support obviously is going to land here. Reason being, it's the furthest away from everything. Usually your support, I recommend having a controller for support. To be honest, like you can have a controller fragger as well. That's really good, but to be honest, I would prefer having a controller support on my team. If I'm being honest, it's definitely worth having a controller player on your team, because it gives you variety. And if aim assist does get buffed, at least you have someone who can take full advantage of aim assist. Now, controller players aren't all aim assist, but still, it's good to have a controller player on your team. But I would prefer 2 keyboard players, 1 controller player. Just because the advantages of getting into boxes and stuff as a support, he can just spray. You get me, and use that aim assist, get a few shots in while your keyboard player can claim walls real easily. Now, sorry, I forgot the fucking red dot, boys. Right, he's landing here. The thing about this split as well, you get your 6 chests, which is the same as getting these, which is the same as taking this whole back building right here. You get 4 here, 5 if you take this. So by looting all this back building, you don't get as many chests as this little small thing. Now you do get more real estate. You get the advantage of moving up from back here. You know, you can push up with nobody's behind you. But it's still not amazing, if that makes sense. You don't get a lot of loot. The benefits of this is that when I put on floor loot, you do get a lot of floor loot back here, and that's fair, okay? But you also get 2, 3, and then 8. So 10, 13 floor weapons. Not guaranteed, but that's still better than this house. Still on par with this house, 13. And obviously you can get 10 in this house, which is very overpowered. And again, your support's landing back here. So if there are a lot of AOR spawns and stuff, he's going to need the ammo because he's going to be beaming a lot. Also, I believe that house has the most ammo crates. Yeah, he's got 2 ammo crates, which is just even more better for his playstyle. Then moving on, what you can do to rotate out of there after you've looted, you can rotate out or you can get kills. So the way I see it is your whole posse can so this whole area, I guess, which is your posse, this is our whole area. You can go up this mountain if zone is up there. You can pull out and go inland, which is if you're W keying, that is the way to go. Go straight into Lazy Lake. That's the best thing. That's the best play by far. If you want a W key but not as aggressive, I recommend going down to Caddy Corner. That is where you'll get a guaranteed one team, maybe two teams that are already fighting. You get a third party. Obviously, if zone lets you go down there, do and get a bounty off the dog, if you can. If it's uncontested, you do that. But yeah, up is passive. So P. If you want to rotate up, that's passive. That is A for aggressive. And then you've got a nice little passive aggressive, which is just kind of less aggressive. You can see what's down there. If you don't want it, you can run back. The other three main rotates out of there. Obviously, you can go up and down the wing of the ocean as well, which I will explain in depth in a second. But as far as fighting here, without rotating out of here, obviously still use those rotates when you're done your fighting. But if you want to fight, I'd say the best thing for you guys to do is this. You have two ways right now that I can see. I actually haven't done this bit in my thinking process. Is get your whole team together. Okay, so when I'm using this black line, actually I'll use the yellow line. This means your whole team is going this way, okay? You can go this way. Because now you have this big power building. This is a big power building because anyone that wants to rush you from here has to come across this whole open car park. That costs a lot of mats that they probably don't have. So it's very hard for them to get over to you. So that's why I would recommend rotating to here. Now, if there is no team here, obviously it's not worth rotating over there. You want to get over to these as quickly as you can if it's just a little, I guess, 1v1, one team versus one team. What I recommend doing is playing from building to building. So like this. Get you boys, so the two of you guys, here and here, to just rotate to this house. Your support is good with you, and then your fragger to just creep up around this house. Because then two of you guys can kill the one guy who lands here, or two guys lands here, 2v2, 1v1. There's no way three people land here. So this guy's going to get distracted trying to help his teammates, or he might even run over. And your fragger can use that advantage to get up on high ground, shoot him in the back. And even if he is just focused, your fragger can get clean beams. You clean up here, and you just go straight at him, and he goes straight at him. And it's a W. You do your challenges, and then you dip in one of the three ways which I said earlier, which is basically all you have to do. Pretty simple to get in and out of there. As far as big rotates, let me just wipe all this off. This is where nothing matters right now. Basically, the big breakdown is done. Look at that promotion. I should actually keep that covered up because I'm giving them free promotion. Should I add went grand. Let me just bin everything. When we get up, get this off. When we go out, not that far. Okay. Like I always say, the one place you don't want to rotate is, I have my black color on. You never want to rotate like this, like up this. You can use the creek, but just don't go in here. In this whole box of shit is not a place where you want to be. Just around this general area. Obviously, creeping around here is okay. Salty is actually alright. It's just that shithole in the middle is just not a place where you want to be. Even if you're sand tunnel, I don't recommend it, man. If you can avoid it, avoid it. It's not a great place to be. You get caught up with so many kills. Like if you're W keying, obviously, but I still wouldn't recommend it because I've explained it in other POI breakdowns if you want to look at them. Because not only if I recommend if you're new here, go and watch all the other POI breakdowns as well. Even if you don't care about using that location, I do a lot of information about mid games and certain positions on the map that will help you guys out a lot. It's not just about that POI. But as far as retail, if you're going for a nice easy W key game, straight into lazy afterwards. Again, or down to catty, go through the mountains, use the mountains for high ground, get a nice catty play. If you have this whole thing claimed and you're playing passive and the zone looks a bit like this, so to speak, first zone or something like that, you've good zone. So what it might be good to do is to, if you want to play passive, or even if it's a zone like this, sorry, that would not be a great example for that move. If it's a zone like this, okay, let's just say that's all in zone up there. You can just dip out and then go up the creek. You can go into dirt, you get a P90 if it's free right here. You do a bit of metal farming, and then you're into zone. And you would avoid everybody rotating in from these angles like this. Pleasant, Coliseum, lazy. You'd avoid all of this by just going up and around, getting in up here and just working your way up the coastline. That is a passive way to play, obviously. If it is a placement tournament, you have your points for W key, and if you got a few kills, like 6-7 kills, I would recommend that rotate. If you have 6-7 kills, don't throw it trying to get greedy for another few. I'd play the wing, to be honest, because that's all you need is about 10 kills. 10 kills and a top 20 will do you every game consistently. Or if you want to go more for like aim at top 10 with maybe 5 kills, 4 or 5 kills, you can still pull it off. So basically, that's all I have to say, man. I'm after breaking them down for you. I hope it helped. I hope the video wasn't too long. I try and keep them as short as possible with still a lot of information. This should be on Monday, man. I appreciate all the boys who tuned into the streams last week. I'm trying to get myself a sponsorship, and I'm trying to get us a nice team over here so the content is a bit more, I guess, newer, and the streams will be better when I have more people like in a trios tournament and stuff that I can play again, because my old team did not work out for me. So I'm going to get on that grind. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and thank you very much.